Hey everyone, this is Sam from PrismScroll, and I'm here finally. Everyone's super excited in the August poll. I am super excited. I really love how it turned out, but basically I'm going to do a short little promo video of the new character sheet that basically instead of having the scrolling sheet, which looked exactly like the paper sheet, we have a digital version, the Prism mobile friendly character sheet, which opens up a lot of possibilities. You know, we're not limited by the size of text boxes anymore, things being hidden, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to do a quick promo video and kind of walk through all the different features that the new character sheet is going to start with. So coming down on our journey. All right, so basically to get to the character sheet, when you create new characters, it's going to already start with the new character sheet, but there's a possibility that you might be still on the old sheet. But so how you get to the new sheet is you open up the character settings on the top right, and you want to press the switch sheets option. So that's going to change a setting saying that you're looking at the new character sheet or the old character sheet. It will keep track. So like if you were looking at the old one, it will bring up the old one, or it will save that setting. So here's the new character sheet. It's kind of it's separated and divided into different options. As you can see, it's beautiful. Designed by our designer Grayson. It looks great. I'm really happy on how it turned out. It has a lot of flexibility and a lot of options. A lot of things are pressable, so get press happy and try things. You have this option where you can edit everything, and it opens up the quick roll options that I really love, because I always forget things, and it adds up your modifiers and stuff. You can change the mods so that those are the main numbers. If you long press has some significance here. You can long press the modifiers, you can long press the image and add a picture. You can edit your XP or go up a level. Inspiration and death saves and stuff. So then you'll see here, if you swipe to the right on the left side of the screen, it brings open the tray, which is basically your navigation through all the different options of the sheet. So the first page is your main stats and stuff like that, and then there's other sheets, other parts. So then you have the proficiencies, so your saving throws and your skills. You'll see you got all the skills and their relevant stat that's associated with them. You can press them to roll them as well. Change half modifier for bards and their crazy jack of trade stuff and expertise. Then you can move over, and here's your physical characteristics, your personality and more of your backstory and things like that. So these are all completely editable, and they enlarge or get smaller based on how much content's in there. So then you have the new features window, which I think is really great. It's all collapsed, and you can open things that you want to keep open, and it's a lot easier and divided and easier to read compared to the big blob of text that was in the features text box. It was so hard to read, and I think we got a little bit better with the features tab, but now this is just more out in the open, easier. Every feature is divided and it's spaced out. It's so much easier to read. Know exactly what you have. And it's just great. You can also, everybody's gonna love me for this. I'm so glad that we finally got there. It was a little bit easier than I thought. So, it's just nice. You can edit your subclasses, subraces, races, backgrounds. No classes right now, like it's a little bit messy. Maybe in the future we'll change that. If you got your class wrong, I don't know what to say for you. So you can go ahead and just change your subclass or your subrace with the edit button. the pencils in the bottom of the screen, the action buttons. You can also quickly look at if you're using a standard class, you can look at the class table, with all your skills, let's say your spells, until we do the spell rework. This is a good way to know how many first level spells or cantrips that you get. So each major group has a page. So you got classes, and then you got race, and then you have your background and feats. So you can add feats using the new interface. So that's one big thing with the new interface is the spells. So no more limitations for all you wizards out there on having a billion cantrips. You can just keep adding spells. Go ahead and add as many as you want. And then it will populate this list. You can use the buttons on the left to keep track of your prepared spells. You can use the old sorting to sort the list if you have a bunch. You can if you press the level button on the right, it will actually bring that level to the top. So let's say you just want to see all of the level 2 spells at the top. You can do that. Quick access to the tables again for the class tables, just for the spells and stuff. You got your spell ability thing, your casting ability, and your spell save just at the top. Some quick note area. You can also press the slots, the top of the table, and it will switch the spells and the slots, so that you can, like, if you want to have the spells at the top, you can just change that. So that's how you do that. So I want to introduce you to the new spell selection. I've had a lot of both ways. Some people love the cards, some people hate them. I think they're good and bad. I think now that I got a little bit more chance to rework them, I think they're a lot better and more friendly now. But I think having the tiles and the cards, now you can see that there's a table and the cards at the same time. It's a good mix. So here now you can swipe through the cards and get a brief look at them, or you can just swipe through the list and then do that. So the most awesome thing here that I think turned out really great is the filter. You can obviously, there's the search, but the filter here is really awesome. So here you can select all of the relevant things, and let's say you want to only have conjuration spells. There's only 50 spells, or maybe you only want to have wizard spells, and this will save so that it you only look at wizard spells, because all the other spells are pointless or whatever like that. So this is really great. You'll see that there's actually a smart filter, which we'll be adding a little bit later, where it will automatically select spells based on, or the filter, like let's say you're a wizard and a bard, it will filter only those. It will turn on a filter that's relevant to the classes that you are, things like that. But that's not ready yet. If you press the left buttons, you can turn everything off or on. So that's just a quickly toggle on. Let's say you only wanted one and they're all on, then you don't want to press them all. You just want to press that, and then you can press the one that you want. Then you can press filter, and then it will filter them all out. So this is really great. I think it's moving us closer to a point where we can have a compendium. So basically, my current thought is, let's say you shake the app, and it would bring up something like this, where it have everything in a list, and you could just search, and then everything would kind of have like keywords. Like if you searched up fire, it would bring all the spells that have fire. It would bring any feature that has fire in the keywords. So I think we're really close to having that. So I think this turned out great. It looks great. It works great. Even looks good on iPad. Actually, check out the spell cards on iPad. It looks so much better now. Rather than have everything in a vertical, it actually divides them into two, so that you can have two scroll views. It turned out really good. I'm really satisfied with how it turned out. Getting everything, basically the next step is getting all the apps using the same stuff. Right now they're kind of they're close, but they're a little bit separated. So here you got to the equipment. So this is pretty good as well. It's you're no more limitations on the 5 attacks or the 5 slots in the character sheet. You can have as many things as you want. You can press it, and there's no rolling right now. I didn't get enough time. That will be added soon, but basically you'll be able to roll damage. I need to make some adjustments on custom equipment. And then we have the good old weight tracking as well. So you can adjust that, and user suggestion added max capacity and how much you can push and drag, and those extra statistics just in case that matters to you. You can change the quantity if you press that button over there. Let's say I have 10 daggers. You can do that, and then it will keep track for the weight for you. And then all these buttons are editable. So let's say you have armor. So you have the same sort of filter here, you'll see. So let's say I only want to look at armor. My character currently has plate. So you can go ahead and add that on. Maybe. Might be missing an alert there. Plate. I'll have to check on that. But basically you can add that and add the AC. And it's 18. I'm going to check this here really quick to match. Alright. So that's the equipment. So you'll have that and all the items. You can select from the custom creator. If you make a special item that we don't have, you can also add that here. So moving on. So this also turned out pretty awesome. I think it looks pretty awesome. So it looks good on iPad and iPhone as well. So I think the old version was limited to 8 dice. So now this version, you can put as many dice as you want. I do need to make a small adjustment for the size when you put too many in, but it will handle most of the things. So you can add dice and whatever color you want. So let's say I want to have fighter green. Add a couple D20s. It tells you how many you have. And then you shake it, and it has this new interface where it shows you all the rolls for every single one that you have. So let's say I have, a bunch of random stuff. Roll. And then you can see them all. So if you want to look at all of them, you can see that, or you can, let's say you didn't want to have them, you can press them and it would remove them from the list. So let's say you rolled too many, then you can still keep track of the total, that it had before. Is that right? Yeah. So then you can reset. And then just so everybody knows, there's actually a saved roll feature here where you can actually create rolls. So for example, I have a +2 short sword that I made a roll for my character. So you can add a dice. So like I do my to hit, I got my +2, none, and I got my proficiency bonus, and then my charisma, and then we'll make it fighter green because I'm a fighter, and there you go. So then you would check, so that's saved. So now if you wanted to roll that, you could just press the dice, and then it would add the D20 and you could roll. And there you go. See, then it would add it all up for you and you would know, and it would add your your charisma modifier and your proficiency bonus, and it's just really nice. So make sure you take advantage of that. So resetting, so that's that. So then we'll move on to the journal. The journal has significant upgrades. You'll see that you have a couple adder buttons that you're probably familiar with, and then there's the general notes area, which is a character suggestion, good improvement. So basically, even myself, I didn't create a note because I had to create a whole new object, and that was just annoying. If I wanted to make quick notes, there was no good place to do that. So you can do that here. So you can just add stuff. Let's say whatever. and then this will keep expanding. So if you have a lot of just quick notes, you can do that and it will save those. So that's really nice. So if you want to have just quick notes so that you don't forget, and maybe you can change it and make items later for it, that's a way to do that. Another option that you can do is the pictures. So now we can have an array of pictures if you want to save, a map or whatever. You can do that. This might be scary. I'll take a picture here. So, well, also a suggestion was you can have the original or the cropped version. So you can do that here. So go ahead. If you press it, you actually have the option to zoom in. So let's say you have a pretty detailed map. You can zoom into that, get all the details there. So that's really nice. You also have your delete feature if you need that. So then you have the good old journal here, where you can choose the color, and then also the icon. Might be including some icons as well later. Maybe some custom icons, and then your typical note options. So you delete it here or not. So then it just pops up in the list like we did before, and then you can search as well. So it will update there, and you can do that as well. So that is the journal. I think that improved a lot as well in this interface. So that is pretty much it for the custom character. Actually, there's one more thing. One pretty big. Introducing here, so you got the level up feature, which you guys are familiar with the old sheet. It's kind of in I think a more used place rather than the character menu. Not many people open that, but this actually has, you're going to be opening this, to get to other sheets. So I think a lot more people will see the level up feature. So that's going to bring you to the same window. And then there's also the long rest and short rest buttons. This is going to get expanded, but to start, I think it's a pretty good start. So you can do short resting, so rolling hit dice, and then the other option is long resting. So it would reset your hit points to a total value if you have one. It would give you half your hit dice. And then reset that value, and then spell slots, it would reset it to the total value if you had one. So if you don't have a total value, then it won't do anything, but you can do this. You can also deselect them or select them, and it will only do the ones that are selected. So if you only wanted to reset your hit points or whatever, or if one's not relevant, you can deselect it. So the last things, other things that you're familiar with, export to PDF and export to file. For exporting to PDF, you're still going to have to go to the old sheet. So we're going to make some changes to that. So, I figured out a couple ways of moving or finding out when text gets truncated. So if it's not visible, I'll move it to a different sheet so that you'll have everything. So like, for example, that features text box, it got blocked up because, there's so much in that box and you can't see it all. I'll move that to another sheet. That's just basically a 3 big text box sheet, but that's planned for the future. So if you want to export a sheet, you have to go back to the old sheet. So you would just use the change sheet button. And then the last thing you can do, so long presses do things. So one thing that you can do is so let's move to a different sheet. You can long press an item and change the order of your sheets. So if you want to move it to the top or move it to the bottom or hide it, you can do that. So for example, there's no more journal. If you don't use the journal, you can hide that and it won't be there anymore. If you don't use the dice and you have a pretty set of goblin, you're a dice goblin, you can just hide that and then get it out of the way. Or you can move it. Let's say you use the dice a lot, you can move that to the top, and then there you go. Now that will be in that order instead of the other way. So it also keeps track of what sheet you were on last. So when you go back to the main sheet, for example, it will track that you are on the dice page as well. So those are pretty awesome. I like the journal, so I'm gonna show that again. So that is the new character sheet. Quick 20-minute rundown. Hope you weren't too bored. I'm super excited. I think it turned out great. It looks great. It looks pretty good on iPad. You can make a few adjustments, but on iPhone, really good. All right, so thanks for watching. Super excited. Coming out this week. Stay tuned. Thanks.